So this clip begins with a man asking women if height matters on a man. Let's watch.
Matter in a guy?
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, it does? Step on the scale. She judges based on height, so we're gonna judge her based on weight. Don't you think it's embarrassing for short guys? They can't change their height. I'm not short, but other guys are short. Don't you think it's embarrassing when a girl's like, you're too short?
If you don't like fat girls, is that a preference?
I judge based on stuff you can change. And you can change your weight.
You can't change your weight?
Yes, you can change your weight.
You can't change your weight?
I can't change my height. You can change your weight.
Get a haircut and then we'll talk.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
You sound like a douchebag.
I know it's an overused term, but these women were triggered. Like this guy, he broke their brains. Get a haircut. You sound like a douchebag. At one woman, she kept making like moose noises.
Appreciate that.
Why did they react that way? I mean, haven't we always been told that women are the fairer sex? Unlike men, women are gentle. They're kind. They're dignified. We're not seeing any of that. We've also been told that unlike men, women aren't shallow. Men are superficial. They only care about appearances. They just want to know if a woman's hot or not. But women, they're deeper than that. They care about character, substance, personality. They see beyond appearance. Or at least that's how the myth goes.
Does the perfect man exist?
I don't know yet. I have a man right now that spoils me, but I don't want to date him.
Why not?
He's 5'6". I don't even want to touch him, so...
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's just buying me like Cartier, and I'm like, thank you.
He's 5'6". Like, that's self-explanatory why I wouldn't date him. Ugh, I wouldn't even touch him. He's only good for buying me things. And sadly, this woman is not alone in her superficiality. Look at this graph. You'll see that women will not tolerate being in a relationship with a man that is shorter than them. For the gender that prides themselves on not being shallow, these statistics are pretty damning. And it's not just a matter of women wanting men to be taller than them, because even short women have a preference for very tall men.
So does height matter on a guy?
Yeah, it does. Like really tall guys.
Like how tall?
Like 6'10".
6'10"?
Yeah.
So they gotta be like NBA?
Something like that, yeah.
Alright, what about you?
I like guys that are 6'6".
6'6"? So all tall guys only?
Yeah,
No short guys?
Like, no short guys.
They don't even have an opportunity to like slide in DMs?
No, that's not in my options.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Do you see how casual this conversation is to them? Like you, as a man, you're watching this, you're thinking, aren't they embarrassed, to say this out loud, to admit this publicly? But what you've got to understand about women is that even when they are dismissing a huge segment of the population based on appearances, they don't think of that as them being shallow. They see it as them having standards. To them, it's empowering. They're so self-involved that they don't even think about the men that they're talking about. They don't think about how judgmental and superficial they're being. They're just thinking about themselves. But that's why this guy gets such angry responses, because he bursts that bubble. He forces women to confront the reality of who they truly are, and they hate him for it. Observe.
Do you judge a guy based on height? Does height matter?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
They can't choose whether or not they get to be tall.
Well, someone else will love him, not me.
So I judge based on things that you can change. For example, how much makeup you wear. Okay. So I got some makeup removing wipes because I love...
Fuck no, get the fuck up out of here, what the hell? Why would you want to take off my makeup?
Because you're judging guys based on height.
You can see my face.
I can't. You got a whole mask on.
And another.
Does size matter in a guy?
Yeah.
So we're gonna measure your waist. Come on. Hold it right here. She's judging guys based on something they can't change.
You can change your waist size.
Yeah, that's the point.
You're failing. Boo.
Let me explain what's actually happening psychologically to these women in these videos. For years, these women have congratulated themselves and have enjoyed this delusional feeling of superiority, as though they are better than men. That's their honest self-image. That's how they see themselves. But this guy with his videos, he is destroying that myth in a really clever way. Because what he does is he takes a woman's preferences and he gets them to consider them through a new frame. Height, size, whatever it is, they're no longer able to see that just as personal empowerment, just as her standards. The way he presents it gets them to see it in a new context, because he relates the preference that she's just expressed to a male preference. No makeup, waist size, weight. And then suddenly, possibly for the first time in their entire lives, these women are forced to confront the fact that the preference that they have just expressed is no different from the male preference. In fact, it's arguably worse because, as he says, you can change your weight, you can't change your height. If a man is shallow for judging a woman based on her weight, then what does that make a woman who's judging a man based off his height? And you can see how angry these women get when they are forced to confront the truth of who they are. I'm not stepping on a scale. I'm not taking off my makeup. That's humiliating. That's dehumanizing. Yeah, that's the point. It's really good satire. When you view a woman's height preference in this context, you see that it completely destroys the narrative that women are not superficial, that they're not shallow, that they don't care about appearance. And women hate that because they have really enjoyed putting men down, shaming them for being so focused on appearances. For decades, it has been a favorite pastime of women to shit on men because they think men care too much about looks. Now, the view has looked pretty good for women up there on their high horse. And every time they shame men, they get to have that rush, that feeling of superiority of like, you're down there, but I'm up here. And it's time for that to end.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not. I'd at least 6'2".
At least 6'2".
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
So 6'2".
Well, it's 5'6", 5'5".
6'2" bare minimum.
Yeah, I just like tall dudes.
I mean, it must have been within 5 seconds that she said, men are so superficial. Next words out of her mouth, oh yeah, I wouldn't date a man under 6'2". I mean, is there any self-awareness, like any at all? Women who have not yet reconciled inside themselves that they are every bit as superficial and shallow as men and they focus on appearances just as much, those women are in for a rude awakening because that self-image that they have as this morally superior being who doesn't care about looks, that's not gonna last. It can't. It's delusional. It doesn't exist in reality. They don't deserve that positive reputation. It's fake. They have no right to feel so smug. They are just as superficial, arguably more so. But I'm arguing that that's actually where the anger comes from. She's not annoyed that people might see her weight. She didn't stand on the scale in any case. What pisses her off is that her self-image has been threatened. That with these questions, she now has to confront the fact that she's every bit as superficial as she's always claimed men are. And women don't want to give up the feeling of superiority that they have. That's like half of their self-esteem right there is just feeling like they're better than men. She wants to be able to say, I don't date men under 6 foot, while simultaneously saying all men are pigs, they only care about looks. Sorry, no more. You can't have it both ways. And I hope it's clear that what I'm taking issue with is not the preference, it's the hypocrisy. I'm not going to sit here and shame women for not wanting to date short guys. What I'm saying is that if you're going to allow yourself to have dating standards based on appearances, then you need to let men do the same. If you won't date a guy because he's short, then men shouldn't date a woman because she's fat. You're both making decisions based on appearances. Either both of you are shallow or neither of you are. But why do women have such a preference for tall men in the first place? Observe.
Online dating in England is just a complete disaster. I'll tell you why. It's because British men are just so short. And even the small girls want a tall man. I need to feel feminine and I need to feel small and like delicate. Only a tall man can do that.
I need to spend the rest of the video explaining this because it goes against what we've been told, right? Like, don't women want to feel strong and empowered? That's the message of feminism that's being crammed down our throats, isn't it? But if tall men have the effect of making women feel small and delicate, why are they so popular? Why do so many women want that? What is the psychological appeal and why are we as men getting these conflicting messages? And also, what are you meant to do if you are a short guy and you want to make her feel the same way that a tall man makes her feel? I'm going to keep exploring all of this. If you want to keep watching the rest of this video, come on over to Patreon. I'm going to go into a lot more depth there. What I post here on YouTube, these are just the shortened, abridged versions of my videos. If you want the full Alexander Grace experience, you just want to see all of my videos uncut, in depth, in full, come on over to Patreon.